Welcome back to STL Live. I'm Sarah Thompson, and here with me is Joanna Battles of the Shakespeare Festival St. Louis, Shakespeare Festival St. Louis, and we're talking about the education tour that kicks off on Monday. Really, so I want to pick up a point that you brought up in the last segment, which is about how Shakespeare is, in fact, relatable. I mean, I think in the age of pop culture, so much stuff going on right now, people just think anything from the past is not applicable in their life, but that's not true. Tell me about some of the things that the kids say after they've learned, after they've seen the play, and after they've done one of the workshops.
Yeah, well, specifically, I will talk about Hamlet because I directed it for the tour this season. Well, Hamlet, our production of Hamlet's very young. He's led a very sheltered life. I would imagine that he is probably a freshman in college, and he's had to come back home because his father has died. And so this is the first time that he really has to contend with something real, you know, a tragedy in his life, a personal tragedy. And it's, you know, trying to weigh those options of what he should do, how he should live his life, how he should be a man. And I think that, you know, for many students who are seeing this, especially those high school students, right, they have, you know, been living a certain life in which they're, you know, this is a vast generalization, but living at home with their family and haven't really been challenged. And what I'm hoping that they'll glean from this show is that when they encounter a challenge, that rather than going immediately and, you know, tweeting something mean or going on Facebook and, you know, tearing someone down, that instead they'll really contemplate, they'll question what is right, what is wrong, and, you know, ultimately come up with a better solution than the sort of heat of the moment, you know, want to go and punch someone sort of reaction, you know. And so I think that in some of the shows that we've done so far, we actually performed it as a preview. That was some of the feedback that we got from the students also, that they were really surprised by how much they related to Hamlet and how much they liked him. And I think that as a result, I mean, I'm having Hamlet talk directly to them in all of the soliloquies, and I think that really includes them in the world of the play, and they find themselves caught up in it, which is exciting.
And I'm sure that when you think about all with Shakespeare's works, obviously like with Romeo and Juliet or something, because there's so many things that have been based off of it, whether it's like ice skating to film to, you know, you name it, people can relate, but not maybe some of the other works. What about language? And I mean, I'm going to pull back something from my English class. Iambic pentameter, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, how difficult it is. I mean, Shakespeare is tough if your mind is not sort of in it. You know, how do you help students sort of interpret and hear sort of as Shakespeare intended?
So what's really exciting about Shakespeare, about the language, is that it has this rhythm, this internal rhythm, this heartbeat to it, and as a result, it is very similar to rap or hip hop. And so a lot of the time we bring in sort of melody with it, so that the students, even if they're not quite understanding in an intellectual way, they get it, in a visceral, physical way. And so just really having them physicalize the beat of the rhythm of the language is really exciting. I've read that that actually Shakespeare wrote in the heartbeat of each character. And so that if you just follow along as it is supposed to be spoken, that you understand when their heart skips a beat, when they freeze, when they, you know, are happy, sad, etc.
I didn't know that. That's really, really interesting. Well, we've got the information there for you. It's Shakespeare Festival St. Louis. It's the education tour where they go perform, do a 50-minute performance to schools around the state, not just St. Louis City, not just St. Louis County, but around the state, and then follow up with a Q&A and a workshop. And you have 3 different options for a workshop. It's a great way to introduce students to Shakespeare. So if you're interested and for more information, head to the website sfstl.com or call 314-531-9800. And I've learned something today. I hope I didn't say anything wrong. I had to go back into my high school brain, but it's really exciting, really interesting. I think a great way, like I said, just to introduce students to Shakespeare, to have them fall in love. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
All right, well, there's more STL Live after this. Stay with us.